Shikamaru's time as Hokage is officially over. Or maybe it's actually Kobu who's completely cooked. Yeah, at least that's a pretty catchy hook to sum up what we'll be discussing over the next few minutes. I'm Nim without an E. Help me hit 100 likes or 1K hype points. Thanks a lot, guys. So yeah, if we look back at chapter 36, turns out there were so many interesting clues and hints worth diving into. And one of them is Shikamaru being ousted from his position as Hokage. After Shikamaru's interrogation arc was postponed thanks to Kashin Koji's scheme, especially since the mission to take out Kobu ended up failing, this means Koji's problems don't just stop here. He seriously needs to figure out a way to get rid of Kobu, because either way, if Shikamaru gets demoted, that's going to be a massive headache for Koji himself. Since Shikamaru is basically Koji's right-hand man, things will get way harder if Shikamaru gets stripped of his Hokage title. But believe it or not, looking at it from other perspectives, especially my own, I don't actually believe Shikamaru's biggest threat right now is losing the Hokage seat. Because if you really pay attention to chapter 36, there's something way more interesting going on. Look, I get it, and we have to acknowledge that with Kobu deciding to report Shikamaru to the daimyo, this whole situation is on a whole different level now. The daimyo's decision will literally shape the future of Konoha, and even though Kobu technically holds all the cards here, he only showed up as an investigator or something along those lines. He has the authority. He has the proof. Heck, he almost got Shikamaru to admit it. Then everything flipped the moment Kashin Koji's plan went into motion. Inojin shifted Kobu's consciousness. His body ended up on the roof of the Hokage estate. Mamushi nearly took him out. Boruto pulled up at the exact same time. And from that moment on, the entire investigation descended into pure chaos. What's really fascinating isn't just what happened, but how Kobu interpreted the whole thing. He doesn't think he was saved. He genuinely believes he was set up in Kobu's eyes. Boruto, Shikamaru, and even the people around the Hokage might all be working together, which means Kobu's trust in Shikamaru is completely dead in the water, and I'm pretty sure he's convinced that Shikamaru is a traitorous Hokage trying to ally with a traitor like Boruto. Yeah, at least that's their take on it. But would you believe me if I said that from here on out, I see 3 major possibilities? Possibility 1, Shikamaru is truly done. If Kobu's report gets accepted and approved by the daimyo, Shikamaru gets stripped of his title. His run as Hokage is over. Legally speaking, this makes total sense. With the absolute proof Kobu gathered, ranging from freeing Boruto, hiding information, obstructing an investigation, to alleged collusion with the enemy, there's zero reason to keep Shikamaru around. He'd have to be removed. But in my opinion, that's just way too easy and predictable. First off, Akimoto isn't the type of writer to build up political tension for multiple chapters just to wrap it up with a single official letter. That's way too simple. He always creates ripple effects behind every solution, you know? Yeah, it's not going to end easily, and it won't be that straightforward. Second, regardless of who would take over as Hokage, I honestly think no one will and no one ever should. Shikamaru will probably remain Hokage at maybe even until the end of the series. Why? Because he's the only one who has been following this entire scheme and conflict deep enough. Just picture it for a second. Say Kakashi steps back up as Hokage. I know the internet would go wild over that, sure. But the story just wouldn't hit the same if it's not Shikamaru as Hokage. Aside from their different mindsets and intelligence, Shikamaru is already way too deep in this mess, which means if the Hokage changes, re-explaining everything from scratch would just ruin the momentum. Yeah, you know what I mean, right? I know some of you might argue that Shikamaru could just go back to being an advisor like before to assist Kakashi. But what if it goes the other way around? What if he's straight up banned from the administration altogether, right? Also, at this point, do you guys feel like it's Konohamaru's time yet? Personally, I don't think it's his time. And even when that time comes, I feel like Sarada is actually the most relevant candidate. But anyway, looking past all those previous scenarios and reasons, this is where I start feeling like there's something else brewing. Maybe a major plot twist, or in other words, a hugely crucial decision ahead. Because in possibility 2, it's actually Kobu who's going to be done. Now, this is the most interesting possibility. Think about it carefully for a second. Who is the most dangerous person right now? And who is the one person that could trigger a massive domino effect if this issue isn't settled right here, right now? Once again, it's Kobu. At first, I was confused too. Why did Kobu survive? I mean, why did Boruto save him? I get that when it comes to Boruto, he probably wouldn't just let Kobu die, but Koji explicitly said he thought Kobu needed to die, meaning Koji knows that with Kobu still breathing, the danger surrounding himself and Shikamaru isn't over yet. What's even wilder, Chapter 36 basically threw out a death flag already. Mamushi almost killed Kobu. which means Ikemoto has already shown us readers that Kobu can die and should die at any moment. He doesn't have plot armor, so if he actually dies later, it won't feel forced at all. It'll just feel like a logical continuation of chapter 36. The real question is, who takes him out? That's the big one. Before, it was Mamushi who almost did it, but right now there's no ongoing invasion and Mamushi is done for. So who could it be? Another Shinju? Code? Or someone we haven't even suspected yet? I'll admit, trying to guess how Kobu gets taken out is tough, especially if whoever does it is from within Konoha itself. But it's also hard to claim Code or Jura would do it. They have zero reason or business taking out Kobu, right? Then there's possibility 3. It's all just Ikemoto's bait, meaning there's one final possibility, and honestly, I think this is the peak option. What if nobody is done for? Neither Shikamaru nor Kobu. Let me throw a hypothetical out there. Disclaimer though, whether this turns out true or not, it's pretty wild to think about. Just imagine this scene. Right as the daimyo is deciding Shikamaru's fate, while all eyes are glued to the political drama, out of nowhere, Jura shows up. Whatever Jura pulls off, at that exact point, there has to be a leader to regain control of the situation. Or say, Code makes his comeback and another threat pops up. What happens then? All that political infighting instantly loses its meaning. And at that point, like it or not, agree with it or not, Shikamaru is still necessary. Obviously, Kobu wouldn't have any ground left to push for Shikamaru's removal. And what's cool is, at this precise moment, Shikamaru's response would be the deciding factor in front of the daimyo. Because if Shikamaru can handle such a chaotic situation, those allegations won't mean a thing if he acts completely opposite to what he's being accused of. I know the chances of this specific scenario happening are pretty low, but what do you guys think? In conclusion, if you ask me which prediction is most likely, honestly, I'm leaning toward option 2. Not because I hate Kobu or anything, but because Kobu's current position is just way too dangerous. I mean, he's a huge obstacle right now, and usually, a character who barely cheats death once, rarely gets lucky a second time. Meanwhile, Shikamaru, even though he's walking on thin ice right now, I feel like he still has a much bigger role to play, mainly because he's the only one who knows Kashin Koji's true identity. He's the only one who truly grasps the threat of Jura, and he's the only one left who can actually map out a strategy against all this chaos. If Shikamaru actually gets ousted right now, who's gonna lead Konoha when the next disaster hits? But again, if Kobu has to die, how do you think it goes down? Let's talk about it in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. I'm Nim without an E. See you guys in the next Boruto analysis. Bye-bye. Data bio.